Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1181. 81. Well, that was an interesting year. You know what happened that year? Reagan. Well, welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, where we broadcast from Cafe Anyway. I am Mike Matthews. I've been doing this show for over 5 years, and it's been on the internet. You can hear all the past shows.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
At MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Yeah, I own the domain name, because I'm badass.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And today we'll hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. And here is something I hope I can make clear. It's Friday, and that means it's time to get your jacket on and go outside because it's hot and cold simultaneously because it's fall and it gets all confusing. Swans.
Mike's Daily Podcast
are nice. And they're over at Lake Elizabeth, not too far from me in Fremont. And I never go see them anymore because
Mike's
I take a nap
Daily
during my break
Podcast
at work now.
Yeah!
I take the most relaxing naps. I only get a half hour off, but I just go into this zone, this complete dreamland in my car. I park under this very tall tree and just occasionally get woken up by someone who has to slam their car door 15 times. Why? I really enjoy the little sleep. I feel so refreshed. But then when we record a lot of shows here at my work, or there, not at Cafe Anyway, but there at my job. And it's fun because you record the show and sometimes you really get into it. Well, what happens is we have the host of the show, in another room that we see through a glass. But occasionally we have to go into this one room where we're actually in the room with the client as we're recording them. And that's old school. That's the way I used to do it in radio for the 30 years that I've been in radio. And this was... What's fun is when it's someone that's yelling about revelations, the rapture, the tribulation. Because, yes, it's a Christian station. Oh, my gosh. That was interesting. Look who just walked in. That's why people go to church on Sunday, some people. They want that. They want that hellfire and brimstone in their face. Well, I had it in my face at my job yesterday. It was very interesting. I'll put it all in my book. Look who just walked in.
Hi, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, Gift Shop Supervisor. I can't wait to read your book. Are you going to write it?
No.
Oh. Mike Matthews, I think that, food can be disgusting.
Food can be disgusting?
Yeah, some people eat, really weird food.
What are you talking about?
In-N-Out Burger. It's, disgusting.
Wait, you don't like In-N-Out Burger? That's, the biggest thing in California. People come here they fly to California just to go to In-N-Out Burger. I remember when I lived in Alabama. Oh, look who else just walked in. The people I worked with in Alabama would be like, oh, we can't wait to fly to California. We're going to get an In-N-Out Burger. And to me, it's like, who? What? Who cares? Yeah, they have cornered I think the closest... Well, when I was living in Alabama, a Five Guys opened up. And to me, that was all kind of like it. But burgers, scary. I once worked at a radio station where we had this woman that called in all the time, and she claimed that she was the heir to In-N-Out. But now I work with someone who worked at In-N-Out for 10 years, and we corroborated stories, and it turns out that girl was not the heir. So you never know. People that call up radio stations, it's quite suspect. They say that only 2% call you. That's good, because that's also pertains to podcasts. Only 2% email me. Oh, but I've been getting emails. Which is time for the segment.
Oh my God!
Email for me now.
and your calm and not so calm mess.
I neglected to mention who else walked in. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the engineer. We love to hear what the conservative right is complaining about. Oh, yeah. Here's my whiny white man wine list for today. The list that they send out. Oklahoma officer charged with manslaughter in killing. How dare they charge him with that? They're saying on the right, because he wasn't at fault. Nobody died. Oh, wait, yes, they did. Charlotte protests much more peaceful on day 3. Why does that have to... I might not do this list anymore because it's requiring me to read more, and I don't like that. Hillary shifts far left on taxes. Teenager saves flag from anti-American teacher. Teacher wants him arrested. Yikes. And what else will the conservative talk show host be talking about today? Florida Sheriff's Office refuses to escort NFL Dolphins until they stand for anthem. Oh, and Gloria Steinem. Forced childbirth is the single biggest cause of global warming, she said. So now they will rant and rave about that. How dare she say that? Having children is great. Babies are beautiful. Let's bring in a baby now. Mike, here's one. Oh, that's Philip. Philip wants to be fed. Any women in here who could feed him?
Mike Matthews, that's disgusting.
Well, I mean the mom of the baby.
Mike Matthews.
No, but the breastfeeding, it's natural. Sex is natural, sex is fun. Sex is best when it's one-on-one. MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-1181-Emphatic is a lot of fun. Go there, check out the past podcast pictures. Oh, today's podcast picture, incidentally.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Speaking of Alabama, and yes, it's been now over 7 years since I moved to the Bay Area from Alabama. I lived in Alabama for 2 years, exactly 2 years. So I guess you could add 2 and say 9 years ago I left California initially to go to Alabama. Hey, here's some of the emails from email. We're still doing that segment. Hello, Mike. For the past year, we've been quietly chipping away in the studio. Oh. Who are you? It goes on to say, we focused our spontaneous fits of inspiration normally captured on cell phones and wired between Ottawa and Hamilton into something concrete. Our new song, Settle Down, is the first to come out from these new sessions. All right. Please consider listening and featuring our new song. It's Dark Mean is the guy who sent it to me. Isn't that interesting? And I got one other guy that he's been emailing me a bunch. Oh yeah. Hi Mike, I came across Mike's Daily Podcast and I was wondering whether you were looking to get more listeners. I run a service that can transcribe your shows into text. Why? Why would I want to do that? I have no... If people want to... People would much rather hear the show than... Can you imagine what I just said, that sentence? Ending here. If that was written down, how completely boring that would be to read. Anyway, this person says, I run a service that can transcribe your shows into text. Posting transcripts on your website boosts your search engine visibility and is an effective way to build a larger audience. All right, I just do not care about search engines, okay? Search engines are all corrupt anyway. If you go and do it anyway... Cafe anyway. Anyway. If you go and do any search, please, dearest listener, use a little common sense. You know that the first couple posts there, especially the ones that say ad next to them, are ads. People paid to be in that spot. They paid a lot of money. That's why Google and, I guess Bing to some extent, and the other search engines, which I can't think of at the moment, but they all are... So Yahoo, they have enormous amounts of cash because people are paying to be in those spots. And they had to pay those kids a lot of money to sing that so beautifully and in harmoniously. Then I got another letter from this person. Hey, Mike, I'm not sure if you had a chance to see this. So they resent the email. I'd love to figure out how, or actually they just rethreaded it. They continued the thread of the email. I'd love to figure out how we can help you grow your show. Is that something you'd be interested in? Well, then I did go to the website, and it's like something like you got to pay money for each word. So all the words that I've used so far have probably come out to several $1,000s. Hey, you know what? I don't get paid anything to do this podcast. I do this podcast completely for free. Nobody has gone to the PayPal on my website. Nobody has gone through the Amazon, as far as I know, the Amazon link that I have. But those are all there if you'd like to help support the show. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through that link at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. If you're going to send us anything through PayPal, you'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And there you go. There you go. My big fat Greek wedding. And then also at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com are past interviews. And that's about it. Oh, and yes, a little bit of a blog here and there, but mostly descriptions of the shows. Speaking of which, I haven't described yet what the news segment is today. What are we going to call today? How about the Wow That's Wild Files?
The Wow That's Wild Files.
Yeah, because this is wild. You've been hearing, of course, all about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Well, Brad Pitt did not strike his child during a heated mid-flight argument with Angelina Jolie last week, according to a source close to the actor and MSN.com. Pitt is accused of being verbally abusive and getting physical with one of his children on the family's private plane last Wednesday, a source previously told People. The LA County Department of Children and Family Services is investigating. The 52-year-old Brad Pitt is 52. That's insane. I'm 47 and I look like I'm 62. That's insane. But yeah, you know, Angelina Jolie is like, what, 12 years younger than him? Or more? And I've been there, done that with the May-December marriage thing. She was 12 years younger in my case, and it was... There's a bit of a discrepancy, because we're all going through different decades. If it's over a decade, we're all in different situations in our lives. We're all in a state of development. And yeah, you know, they used to say women are much more mature than men, and I don't know about that. I mean, I think we're all mature in our own way, and different age is a whole other thing. When you're at a certain age, you've experienced a whole bunch of things differently than other people. I think you just have more in common if you're around the same age. I could be wrong. I could be way off base. I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be singing some song by Public Image. Wait. No, that wasn't their name. It'll come to me in a second. They spun off of the Sex Pistols. Yeah, Public Image, wasn't it? Okay. That's why you listen to this podcast, to hear me floundering, isn't it? The LA County Department of Children and Family Services investigating the 52-year-old after the alleged incident was reported to them anonymously. The case has also been referred to the FBI. Now a source close to the actor is... Public Image Limited. Pill. Now a source close to the actor is speaking out exclusively to People about Pitt's side of the story. Pitt was, quote, drunk, and there was an argument between him and Angelina, says the source. One of the couple's older children then, quote, got caught in the middle, literally. He stepped in front of Brad. There was a parent-child argument which was not handled in the right way and escalated more than it should have. The source says Pitt did not hurt his son. Quote, he is emphatic that it did not reach the level of physical abuse, that no one was physically harmed. He did not hit his child in the face in any way. He did not do that. He is emphatic about that. Emphatically, emphatic. lymph nodes. No, that's not anywhere in this article, just the word emphatic is. This goes on to say, quote, he puts his hand on him, yes, because the confrontation was nose to nose and was spiraling out of control. Any accusations beyond that are, quote, a combination of exaggerations and lies, the Pitt source contends, blaming sources close to Jolie. Quote, they have taken the overall smallest kernel of truth that a fight in which Brad was somewhat inebriated got out of hand and reached a regrettable peak, and that, as a result, DCFS is looking into it and they are manipulating it to best suit their attempts to gain custody. The Pitt source adds that the star was not blackout drunk and that he, quote, absolutely remembers that evening and has been interviewed at length to that effect. In the petition for divorce Jolie filed on Monday, the actress requested sole physical custody of the couple's 6 children, and these are the 6 most interesting children's names. Not at the level of Apple and Moses, which, of course, that led to a conscious uncoupling. That relationship, of course, Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin of Coldplay, but Maddox, these are the children of Brangelina. Maddox, who's 15, Pax, who's 12, Zahara is 11, Shiloh is 10, and the twins Knox and Vivian, they are 8. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Sometimes it just feels like I'm reading the news, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little rabble-rabble.
Standing out here yelling rabble, rabble, rabble isn't going to help anything.
But standing out here is wonderful because it's a Friday. It's time to celebrate, time to relax, time to take your eyes off of that computer screen that's giving you a headache. Every day now. Every day I'm getting a headache looking at the stupid computer screen that I have to work with at cafe anyway. I should really have that checked. But have a great weekend. You know, try a fish taco. I got into a discussion with Marco. We haven't done a Marco Minute. Maybe we'll get to Marco Minute next week. Fish tacos are wonderful. Yes, you may like you prefer other, but to me a fish taco just reminds me of San Diego and good times and visiting my friend Aaron, going down there with my friend Carlos, having a great time. Mike Ockett, all these guys that I knew from high school. We had a great time down in San Diego. We drive down from Ventura. And that has nothing to do with today's podcast picture. Did I even mention what today's was? Oh, yeah, the Alabama. That's Tennessee, the Tennessee River. There are some really nice little piers, little boating areas. I did not get to go out on a boat in the Tennessee River. I have not gone out on a boat in Mission Bay in San Diego. Only place I've gone out on a boat is Channel Islands Harbor, Ventura Harbor, and Marina Del Rey, where we love the world away in Marina Del Rey. That's a George Strait song. Hey, I'm going to be on a country station this weekend as the rambling continues. I'm going to be on a country station on countrycrossroadsradio.com. Join me tomorrow afternoon, Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Well, it's like 11 to 4 Pacific Coast. If you're on the East Coast, it's 2 to 5, around there. countrycrossroadsradio.com. And I'll be playing some, not just like, oh, we play Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah, we do play a little Billy Ray, but we play like a huge swath. I say swath because it's a nice word. Johnny Cash. We play some of the new bluegrass, the Inglorious String Dusters, and we play some Americana too. So check it out tomorrow. And if you are listening to this podcast because you heard me talk about it on the country station, thank you for tuning in. Now go enjoy a fish taco. I'm emphatic about that.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Emphatic.